Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Brew Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin, and joining me tonight is my co-host Hefty Duck, as well as the man of truth himself, with a fun Flyers jersey and an outstanding Union Blue Soldiers scarf. We've also invited other people to come on the show, whether they come on or not, different story. Oh, well, if not, oh, well, there's always next time. But anyways, a lot of stuff going on in the Blue Jackets world to talk about. The Blue Jackets have played 3 games since the last time we did a show. They got 2 out of 3 wins. They beat the Carolina Hurricanes 4-3 in a shootout, and they beat the St. Louis Blues 6-4. We're going to talk about that. Zach Werenski is the third star of the week in the NHL. We're going to talk about that. There was a Johnny Gaudreau tribute at Wrigley Field. Some outdoor hockey involving Big Ten teams and Ohio State women's hockey had a little tribute to Johnny Gaudreau, and we're going to talk about that. And speaking of those Big Ten teams, they wore some cool jerseys to their respective games, and we're going to rate them. We're going to have some fun with that. All this and so much more. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome and appreciate y'all for being here live with us, but also big shout out to our audio listeners. If you too want to listen to us on audio, like if you're going to work or something like that, or just want to listen while you're doing something, you can check us out anywhere you can find podcasts. That's, anywhere there's Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, or whatever, wherever you want. Also, big shout out to our viewers on YouTube. You can catch the rewatches there. You can also find it on our Twitter profile. But Twitter's been doing this thing where it takes away the video and just has a link there now or some weird thing. Gotta click the link. It's whatever. You can find us on YouTube as well. But yeah, we got quite a little bit to talk about tonight. We got a couple games and a couple fun things happening outside the games and the Blue Jackets world as well that I want to talk about. First thing I want to mention is a big congrats to the United States World Junior Hockey team for making it to the gold medal game. They're going to be playing Finland tonight, I believe, in Ottawa at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on the NHL Network. The Americans are the defending champions. They lost 4-3 in overtime to Finland in the third game of the preliminary round, but they've been perfect since, beating Canada, Switzerland, and Czechia to reach the championship game. And Finland has won 5 games in a row. USA has a chance to become back-to-back championships for the first time in history at the tournament. So there are 10 returning players from last year's team on the United States team. So Sweden and Czechia face each other in the bronze medal game today at 3:30. So that'll be here in about a half hour. But stick around here. We got a lot more fun stuff to talk about other than just that. So first thing that we want to go over real quick is something that we forgot from last week. Kevin, do you happen to have that clip available?
I gotta bring it up quick.
Okay, cool.
I'll get
talk
there
in a little bit while you're bringing that up.
I'll get there. It's coming.
Okay, so we got something really funny. We did forget this from last week's games against Boston. We talked about it a little bit, but I don't think we really poked as much fun as I thought we should have towards a certain Boston Bruin, because there's just a funny interaction during that game. But speaking of funny interactions, who's pumped for the Blue Jackets versus Detroit Red Wings game here in the outdoor game now? I mean, I know they lost to them this last week, but they were starting to stir up some bad blood. So I'm looking forward to the outdoor game even more now. But so here we have Charlie McAvoy attempting to hit Kent Johnson. I think we did bring it up in a clip at one point, but I really just I love this clip so much. It makes me laugh so hard. He's just absolutely whiffs. Kent Johnson is like a slippery little eel getting out of the way there.
So yeah, the context of this is that we wanted to talk about this on the show last week when the Blue Jackets beat the Bruins 6-2, and we never got around to it. And they're like, "Ah, crap, we got to talk about it this time because we forgot about it. So Kent Johnson, he's going to try and get, he has the puck, and Charlie McAvoy for the Bruins sees that he has the puck, and he's going to try and whack him and put a good hit on him. Well, the issue with that is, he did not whack him or put that good hit on him. He missed. And he missed. He did blow it, and he missed badly. Like, sometimes you miss a hit and you barely miss him. It's like, you tried. This one was just bad. You just missed it. And Kent Johnson, he just got out of the way, and then, Charlie McAvoy made an ass out of himself and went hard into the boards. So, we're going to play this clip, and we're going to talk about it.
Kent Johnson, he sees him, and he just gets out of the way as he loses the puck. And McAvoy not looking at the puck whatsoever. Right here.
But,
whoa,
bam. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Boy, got the worst of him. Kent Johnson, he sees him.
And I don't know, does it continue the rest of the clip? Because I believe Olivier comes up to McAvoy and gets in his face because of the hit he was trying to lay. Like, they were, like, the game, like, was not very close at this point. And it just,
yeah.
I mean, like, I hope he's okay, but, like, dude, you don't have anyone to blame but yourself here.
Just seeing like 24 coming to the corner of the screen is just like fucking hilarious, because it's like you just ate shit and now you might just get punched in the face for it.
Yeah, right.
It's just watching them come in is like fucking hilarious.
It cracks me up, man.
But it's
like I said, I hope you're okay, Coyle, but
missed.
Maybe think twice about that one the next time, huh?
Oh my God.
Slow it down next time.
and I'm going to back this up here, but like, look, let's see here.
Look at the CTE.
No.
In real time.
Like, no, because when he's trying to, I'm going to pause this so you can see it. But like when he's trying to hit him, it's kind of hard because Kent Johnson's not standing upright, so it's harder to hit him because there's less of him to hit.
Yeah,
and there's a decent chance of him taking one to the head. So maybe
you can see that
McAvoy wiped out.
Yeah. So like if Kent Johnson is standing up, that he has a better shot of getting that hit, but he's kind of bent over, and that just made it harder for him. And then Kent Johnson did what Kent Johnson did, and he got out of the way. And then, McAvoy makes an ass out of himself. So, oh, well.
Awesome. Anyway, just wanted to bring that up and, have a little fun here at the top of the episode. Because we'll have a little bit more fun here as well. Last episode, we was brought to you guys last year. It was last Sunday, a week ago, and the Blue Jackets, for the 4th year in a row, won. I'm sorry, hold on. Do you guys get a lot of background noise from me right now? Do you hear it? Okay, great.
I didn't hear anything.
Appreciate it. So, for the 4th year in a row, they won the New Year's Eve game, and this year they beat Carolina 4-3. In a game where they had like quite a few less shots than Carolina too. It was just interesting how it played out. First period, Marchenko scored twice. Ty Smith scored a power play goal. The stats today show that I believe Elvis Merzlikins is tied with where's my stat? Elvis Merzlikins is tied with Rasmus Anderson for the most power play goals against at 23, unfortunately. The power play has not been one of the Blue Jackets' strong points. I'm sorry, the penalty kill, I mean. Then, former Blue Jacket Jack Roslovic scores against the Blue Jackets in the second period. Just Barry Kotkaniemi, that guy, number...
Yes, Barry Kotkaniemi.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm here for you anytime.
Making it 3-2 Carolina. So Carolina actually went up in the second period. Second period has not been the greatest for the Blue Jackets this year either. But then The one and only Dmitry Voronkov got a power play goal of his own, his 13th goal of the year to tie it up. It went to overtime. Overtime remained scoreless, so it went into a shootout. And luckily, in that shootout, the two young guns, Kent Johnson and Adam Fantilli, both were able to notch one in to win the game. Svechnikov got one shootout goal for Carolina, but Elvis was able to block all of the rest, or they just missed. So, pretty good game. I thought it was nice that they fought back. Once again, too, I was like, well, it's a New Year's game. They've won 3 years in a row. It's kind of almost tradition at this point, right? But yeah, what'd you think of the game there, Kev?
So Jeff Savoda, he brought this up on his Twitter page the day of the game, that basically that the Blue Jackets, if it's New Year's Eve, more likely than not, based off of their history, they're going to win that game, generally speaking. For whatever reason, why that is, I don't know. But for whatever reason, generally speaking, if the Blue Jackets play on New Year's Eve, they win. They have 11 wins now. They had 10 wins before that game on New Year's Eve, and now they have 11. So for whatever reason, the Blue Jackets apparently do good on New Year's Eve. Yeah. And now it's 4 straight. You've won 4 straight on New Year's Eve. So for whatever reason, the Blue Jackets do good on New Year's Eve. Now, as for the game itself, you played a good first period there. You take the lead, and then the second period was just awful. And then third period, you scored a goal there from Voronkov to tie it up. You played pretty good period to get back in the game. And then you get to overtime, and I'll admit, I was like, oh, God, just please win in overtime. Knowing that the Blue Jackets this season are 1-6 in overtime, you're just like, man, it just doesn't make you feel good. And in some ways, you think, they're probably going to blow this because they suck in overtime.
Yeah.
And it's like, just other than beating Tampa Bay in overtime, they haven't done very well. So I'm thinking to myself when I'm watching that game, let's just get a win in overtime. I just don't want to watch another time where they somehow lose it in overtime after playing good in overtime. But they had their chances. They couldn't put it away. Carolina had some chances. They couldn't put it away. And arguably towards the end of that overtime period, Zach Aston-Reese gets called for tripping, which I don't think it was really tripping because he's in the process of trying to block a shot. And in the process of trying to block a shot, Carolina player kind of falls over him, and they call tripping on that. And it wasn't, and why that matters is that because the Blue Jackets get the puck, and had that penalty not been called, they quickly would have shot that up the ice, and they easily would have had probably like a 2-on-1 for like one last good opportunity to maybe win it in overtime. They didn't get that chance because they get that questionable penalty called on them. And so now it's like, oh, shit, now you have to 4-on-3 power play. It's like, oh, boy, now you have to make a stop here. There is no around that. And to the Blue Jackets' credit, they did exactly that. They put a stop to that. Carolina doesn't score on that power play. It goes to a shootout. And in the shootout, the Blue Jackets made it harder than it had to be because the first two shooters for the Blue Jackets don't score. Carolina scores, and now it goes to Kent Johnson, and it's like, crap. It's like, you got to score here, otherwise you lose. Like, that is like the hardest. Yeah, like that's like one of the hardest situations to be in. You cannot afford to not score a goal here. Credit to Kent Johnson. He got the job done. He scores the goal. Then Elvis makes a big save, and then it's like, all right, Fantilli, need you here. You need a big goal right here. And credit to Adam Fantilli. He gets the goal there, And it's like, all right, come on, Elvis. I need you. Make a big save here to put an end to this game. Stop it. And to Elvis Merzlikan's credit, he gets it done. He gets the save. The Blue Jackets win in a shootout. And that is a type of game that is a good learning lesson for the Blue Jackets, because when you watch that game, for a good chunk of that game, they did not play good. There really wasn't a lot going on there for the Blue Jackets, and Carolina was playing real good defensively, not really giving them much to shoot at. But yet you're going to play those types of games, and you still got to find a way to get going and fight through it and find a way to win.
Yeah.
And the Blue Jackets, that's what they did. They got going, they found a way to fight through it, and they find a way to win, even when you're not exactly playing the greatest. And it's a credit to them to get it done. And also, I've never seen something like this happen before, which is that of the 4-game series that the Blue Jackets have played the Hurricanes, they played 3 of them. They played 1 in Carolina, 2 in Columbus, and the 2 in Columbus have ended and the Blue Jackets beating them in a shootout. That's something that, generally speaking, doesn't happen like that. You'll get they beat them in the third period 1 game, and then maybe you'll get like an overtime or a shootout win or loss or whatever in the next one. So for the Blue Jackets to beat them twice at home in a shootout, that's something that'll probably never happen again like that. But it just shows just how competitive those games were, that it got to that point to where it went to shootout. So good on the Blue Jackets for getting a win there. And thank you, Michigan, for being good at hockey, for providing the Blue Jackets for good players like Zach Werenski and Adam Fantilli and Kent Johnson, guys who came through during that game once again.
Yeah. Well, and, we all are aware how the Blue Jackets have not been great in overtime this year.
Yeah.
And then they almost went into overtime again against Detroit. Now, unfortunately, they did lose in the third period. This was kind of a weird game to me, because there was I just felt like they were giving up goals out for no reason.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. The game starts out with JVR getting the first goal. It's a power play goal for the Blue Jackets. Then
I know that guy.
Patrick Kane got a goal, followed by, then about 8 minutes later, Eric Gustafsson for Red Wings and Alex DeBrincat. So the Red Wings are up 3-1 going in the second period, and the team hero got his 12th goal of the season. Zach Werenski put them up 3-2, and then Sean Monahan tied it going into the third period. So once again, entering the third period, they had a better second period this game. That was been one of their downfalls the last few weeks. A better second period, and they went in the third period and got a power play goal scored against them as well. Once again, another failed penalty kill. But then, so Dylan Larkin scored that, and then JVR got a second goal for the Blue Jackets, tied up 4-4, with just under 3 minutes to play. It was 2 minutes and 40 seconds or something. All the way to the very bitter end. They fought and did really well, but with just over 30 seconds to play, Jonathan Bergeron scored for the Detroit Red Wings, and with very little time left to go, the Red Wings would win 5-4. So it's disappointing. It was just disappointing to me. And that very first goal came from too many men on the ice penalty, I believe. And other than that, there weren't too many other crazy penalties throughout the game. Dmitry Voronkov got cross-checking against Ben Sherratt, and Zach Werenski got a rough against Lucas Raymond at the very end of the game. So, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be exciting to see this outdoor game coming up, because they were not happy with each other at the end. And personally, do I love seeing the team that I root for lose and get mad about it? I like it better than just rolling over.
Wow.
Especially after the wise words Patrick Laine gifted them last week. about being content. And I think that they're truly showing they're not. And also, I just wanted to point out, too, that the Blue Jackets are currently sitting in fourth in the Metro, tied for fourth with Pittsburgh with 40 points. And let me see here. Where is... And Montreal has 39 points. So suck it, Montreal. We're beating you by 1 point. Anyway.
Yeah, fuck you.
What'd you think of the game there,
jeez.
Kev?
So, first period starts out good there because you get the goal there from James and Reemsek on the power play, and you're playing pretty good there. And then for whatever reason, the rest of that first period was absolutely awful. And you give up 3 goals, and it's just terrible. And you play a better second period. You tie it up at 3. Things are looking good there. And then they take the lead 4-3. You tie it up at 4. And then you go on the power play and you have a chance to make it 5-4. But you don't do that. The penalty gets killed, and then they score shortly after that. And that's one that Elvis Merzlikins, I like it. You've been so much better for the Blue Jackets this season. You played awesome. You have been a big reason why the Blue Jackets are where they are right now. And you have won games. The Blue Jackets have won some games solely because of Elvis Merzlikins. But that goal that you gave up there is not good. You got him. That's a big save. You need to make that save there. Because you see it on the replay that the puck just bounces off of him and goes in. And it's like, man, that's just disappointing, because that basically was it right there. Because, yeah, the Blue Jackets pulled the goal and they still had a chance to score a goal. And they had some chances there. They didn't get it, but it's like that basically just killed it right there. Because now your chances of winning are basically 0-0. Like, you still have a chance, but it's basically nothing. And as bad as the Blue Jackets have been in overtime this season, you still want that chance in overtime that you could win it. You still want that chance. And unfortunately, you didn't even get that chance. And looking back on it, what's the difference in that game? Giving up 3 goals in the first period. That's the difference in the game. You take that away, and you're winning that game 4-2. But because of that, it's a loss. And this is one of those things that you hope that when the season's over and in some hypothetical scenario, if you don't make the playoffs, I hope it's because, well, we're playing pretty good there. We just tried, and the other teams were just better than us. Not because you look back and you say, damn, if you look back at that game and say, man, if we would have won, should have had that one. If we would have won it, we could have gotten in. And I'm not even saying that the Blue Jackets will not make the playoffs or will make the playoffs, because it's January and that's still way too far to go for that. But you don't want to look back at games when the season's over and say, like, man, we should have had that one. So there were some good moments in that game. It's just, some dumbass mistakes, unfortunately, screw you in the end. So it is what it is. You just got to keep going.
Yeah. And, not every game's going to be perfect, but, man, I really thought that after they got those 2 goals in the first period I'm sorry. Whoops. 2 goals in the second period that I was like, oh, here's the momentum back. Here they tied up 3-3 going into the third period, and then that power play goal just sucked. It was from Voronkov. He got a hooking call against Dylan Larkin. It's not quite the first time we've seen that. It's going to happen. Is it his sole fault that the game was lost? No, there were other goals that were let in, and there were other goals even after that were let in, or another goal. But man, those little things are what eat you up sometimes. It's the way it goes. But
Ruined JVR's 3-point performance, man.
I know, right?
Come on, man.
So
You'll never see that again out of him, man.
And that's another
fuck.
thing. That's another thing. Late on that power play that they had, I like Matthew Olivier. He's been so good for the Blue Jackets this season.
yeah.
He's really stepped it up offensively. He's even, but being a good defensive penalty killer, good third line, fourth line guy. And I could see why they're giving him more ice time and everything. But why are you putting him out on the power play in that moment? Like, I like you, Matthew Olivier, but not in that moment. We need someone else there on the power play. And Van Riemsdyk is one of those guys that I would have preferred to have out there, especially because he's having a good game. You put him or someone else out there, why? And I even had that thought in the game against Carolina. It's overtime, and Matthew Olivier is out on the ice in overtime. And again, I like you, Matthew Olivier. You're playing better offensively and everything, but you should not be on the ice at 3-3 overtime. That is a last ditch option.
When it works so well, and then when it doesn't, unfortunately, is when we see results like that. But I will say Matthew Olivier having a career year. Let's talk about him just real quick before we move on to the final game, because he played a part in last night's game too. So right now, the person with the most penalty minutes in the NHL is Matthew Olivier with 79. That's the most by 3 minutes. Now, looking back at his previous years, the highest amount of penalty minutes he ever had in a year was in 2022-23. He had 81 penalty minutes for the whole season. So he's 2 minutes away from that with 42 games to go. And that season, he played 66 games. So that season was also his highest points amount at 15. He had 5 goals, 10 assists. Next season, he had 5 goals, 7 assists for 12 points. This season, in 40 games. So he's played less games than both of those seasons so far. At 40 games, he played 54 last season. He has 10 goals, 6 assists for 16 points. So he's doubled his highest goal amount. He's also already beat his highest points total by 1 point with 42 games left to go. And he's been getting all the playing time. He's played in every game. Unlike last 2 years, he kept being a healthy scratch. I'm not really quite sure what was going on. I do think he deserves that playing time, but also, like you said, this in certain situations, just those top couple guys, because there's a couple guys in the Blue Jackets who are in the top of the NHL right now, and we'll talk about them here in just a little bit. But I want to go over what happened last night against the Seattle Blues. So this was the third game of the 3-game homestand for the Blue Jackets.
Hold on, wait. Time out.
What?
The Seattle who's?
Did I say Seattle?
Yeah,
look, it's been a long week.
Said the Seattle Blues.
I need a drink. Okay, I should have had a drink, but it's early in the day.
Oh my! The man of truth is calling a timeout. He's calling you out.
Good catch. All right, the Seattle Supersonics. I mean St. Louis Blues. And this game almost got away from the Blue Jackets as well. And they started out so strong. Werenski with his 14th goal of the night to start off again. Put him up 1-0 in the first minute of time. It was just about right at 1 minute. Then Kirill Marchenko in the second period got a power play goal for the Blue Jackets to put him up 2-0. And then in the third period, Mikhail Putia got his 4th goal of the season, a shorthanded goal. Okay, so I was really busy yesterday. I was in the middle of an appointment, and I was keeping up with on my phone mostly until I was able to be done. It was right about partway through the third period. I was able to watch the rest of the game. And when I saw on my phone, it popped up power play for St. Louis. I was like, oh no, this is the third period, and Blue Jackets are going on a penalty kill again. I was like, uh-oh, this could be the start of the momentous shift. And then I saw Putia with the shorthanded goal, and I was like, oh, that's just sweet. For some reason, I feel like there's been more shorthanded points for the Blue Jackets this year than there has been in any other year. I'll have to do a deep dive on the stats there at some point. But unfortunately, then during the power play, Jordan Kyrou did score St. Louis's first. I keep wanting to say Seattle. I don't know why. St. Louis, their first goal to put them make it 3-1. Blue Jackets still lead. And just about a minute later, not even a full minute, like 30 seconds later, Adam Fantilli scored his 8th goal of the season, put him up 4-1 with a sweet. I believe this was a nice far pass down the ice from Zach Werenski, and I seen Just Svoboda. Sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze right now. I seen Just Svoboda say something about how he talked to them about it, and that Werenski said that they've been thinking about trying to make a play like that, but then they did it last night, and there was no thinking; they just did, and that was really cool to see because they did really well with that. Then Cam Fowler did score for St. Louis, put the game to 4-2. Blue Jackets still leading. Voronkov with his 2nd goal of the game, 5-2 on Hattie Watch. And then, unfortunately for the Blue Jackets, but fortunately for the team, my fantasy team, Colton Parayko scored a goal, make it 5-3. Braden Shen then scored later on to make it 5-4. And now is when the worry really kind of set in. I was like, oh shit, because we just saw them have a really close game with Detroit the night, like a few nights before, and that game could have been theirs. And I feel like just those few mistakes and just being a little lax at certain times just cost them that game. And I was worried that that's what was going to happen here, running out of gas in the 3rd period or something. And but they pulled their goalkeeper, St. Louis did, and Matthew Olivier scored his 10th goal of the season to win the game. Final score 6-4. It was a good game by the Blue Jackets. I would rate their performance out of I'll give them like a grade, right? I would give them an A for the 1st and 2nd period. The 3rd period, I would give. I mean, because they won, I'll give them a C because that's a passing grade.
Yeah.
But because they won, if they, it could have been worse. Like, so overall, I think this game's like maybe like a B-, B+, B.
Yeah.
Probably about a B, maybe. Great things I saw, some not great things. But what did you think of the game there, Kev?
Yeah, so basically what you said there is basically what is correct and how I feel about it too there, Hefty Duck, which is first period, you play a pretty good game there. You get a goal from Voronkov. You get a 1-0 lead. You go in the 2nd period. Second period, you know, generally speaking, you play a pretty good game there. You get another goal from Kryl-Marchenko. You're winning 2-0 into the 3rd period. And then Putia gets a big goal there, shorthanded, and you're 3-0 and playing pretty good there. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. And then you give up a goal. Like, that's not good. But then shortly after that, Adam Fantilli scores a goal. And I got the clip to that, and I'm going to show that. It's from the Blue Jackets Twitter page. And it's just awesome because, like you said, is that Zach Werenski, he has the puck. He's kind of by the net. And it's an aggressive move, and that could have backfired, but it didn't. And he went for it, and he just made a quick pass up ice, and then Fantilli gets it, and then Fantilli just shoots and scores. It's kind of just a quick shot, and it goes in. And it was just an awesome play. So that was cool. Then after that, the Blues score again, and that's not good. But then after that, Voronkov scores with an awesome kind of like backhand goal. So that was cool. Jordan Harris from up top shoots it, doesn't score. And then they try another chance in front of the net. That doesn't go in. And then Voronkov gets the puck. He shoots and he scores with the awesome backhand. That was cool. And then, oh boy, oh God, that was awful. And then it just kind of started going down the toilet, and the Blues scored 2 goals, and it's like, uh-oh, yikes. But you know what? To the Blue Jackets' credit, they found a way to get it done. Matthew Olivier scores a goal to make it 6-4, and then that was it. After that, it was good. So Sean Monahan gets interviewed by Jody Shelley for one of the 3 stars of the game. So that was like a 7 out of 10 for me. You play a pretty good game there in the first 2 periods. You score 2 goals, and yikes. That 3rd period was that was like yikes. Like, there were some good moments there. You you score 4 goals in the third period, and that's a big reason why you win that game. That's good. But it's just like, man, you can't defensively, you can't play like that. You got to play better, and you got to tighten it up defensively because you just can't have something like that ever happen again. You can get away with that like one time, but if that happens again, you're not getting away with that again. So I just hope that they fix that and they don't have something like that happen again. But playing pretty good there, generally speaking, and you find a way to win the game, and it's just good. It's just awesome, and I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they got to be making sure like the wins are a little bit more certain now. We're kind of we're just about at the halfway point of the season, and with where they're at in the standings, and where we predicted they would be at previously this year. I think they've already exceeded my personal expectations, and I think a lot of people's expectations. But like now, are they really going to start looking at trying to make that push towards the playoffs? Because whether or not they're trying to make the push, I don't think there's going to be a lot of buying or selling from the Blue Jackets come trade deadline. Now,
It's pretty soon too, man.
it is. It's sooner than we think. It's going to pop up on us out of nowhere, and there's going to be a time where like they're looking at players like, are you in or are you out? And I saw a report that Waddell already talked to pretty much everybody who was going to be UFA except for Matthew Olivier, because I believe the intention would then be to sign him. Like
Yes.
I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think he's very fastly became one of the fan favorites, much like how Jody Shelley was at one time, and Dubinsky and all those like tough guys. So yeah, just gotta lock those in a little bit more sure, because we've seen it happen this year.
Yeah, and this came out recently too, that it's been reported not only in the national media but also in the Columbus media that Ivan Provorov wants to stay with the Blue Jackets, and he's one of those unrestricted free agent guys. And I get, and I can see why he'd want to stay. But also, the news also came out recently that Ivan Provorov's brother is going to play hockey at Ohio State. So part of me wonders if that is a big reason why he wants to stay with the Blue Jackets, so that if he can be there to help out his brother. Because if you think about it, I'm just taking a guess here. This could be right or wrong. But if I had to take a guess, Ivan Provorov's brother's probably spent most of his life in Russia and probably doesn't really know a lot of English, and it's probably going to be a culture shock when he does come to America. So my guess is maybe that's the reason why Provorov wants to stay, is to help out his brother there, so that to help him with the whole culture thing with America and the English and all that other sort of
super
stuff.
Cool.
Also, Ivan Provorov, you know what? You have really been a good player for the Blue Jackets. You've really stepped it up. You've been a reliable guy. You've played every game. You are a tough SOB. You offense, defense, penalty killing, power play. You block shots. You are a horse. We can count on you to play like 20, 30 minutes a night if we have to. He's just the type of guy that you want on your team. However, though, I also get it. I also get it if the Blue Jackets, feel the need to trade him, because all those things that I just said about Ivan Provorov, the reliability, the offense, the defense, the power play, the penalty killing, the toughness, the being able to play like 20, 30 minutes a night, that is stuff that other teams would like for, down the road when they're trying to make the playoffs. And if they do make the playoffs, that they're going to want a guy like that on their team in those tough playoff matchups as the games get harder and harder and harder and harder. you're going to want a guy like that on your team. And a guy like that could at least get you a first-round, second-round draft pick and probably a prospect or something like that. So if something like that comes to the Blue Jackets, I understand why they would make that move. So it's just going to be interesting to see how this goes and how it works out and what they make the decision to do with, Ivan Provorov, because he's also proven to be a good defensive partner with Zach Werenski. So that's something to consider, as well, to see how it goes. Is do they trade him or do they make the decision to keep him?
I would love for him to stay around over there in Columbus. I feel like he's a guy that fits into the system well. I feel like he fits the mold. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Also, I would just hate for him to go to a team that I don't like.
Yeah.
What if he ends up in New Jersey, man? I'm gonna fucking be so pissed.
Well, his little brother Vladimir Provorov currently plays for the New Jersey Rockets 1600 AAA team. It's funny that you mentioned New Jersey. But if he does have plans to play at Ohio State, I think that would be really cool as far as family goes too. I mean, whether or not that influences Ivan Provorov's choice of staying here. I think if he were to try to stay, though, that he would have to try to take a pretty team-friendly deal for that reason.
Yeah.
And
give
not
him
that
all the money.
well, the Blue Jackets have plenty of cap space right now. That's not the issue. It's just how much, looking at who else they're going to have to sign here in the future at some point. You got some young up-and-comers who are showing their value. Kirill Marchenko, Kent Johnson, and they have a little while yet, but I mean, you still got to think in the next, how many years do you want to sign them at this amount of price and whatnot, and thinking of the future of the team.
And then you look that their defenseman prospects will eventually be here. I mean, Denton Matejchuk's already here, but you have to think about that. Corson Kuhlman's, a Stanislav Sposal, a Samuel Konashko, they're going to be here eventually. And, he'll eventually be here as well. A guy like a Charlie Ehrlich, who they just got in the draft, and they got other defensemen in this past draft. Those guys will be here eventually too. So it's like, you got to be smart with your money right now. Just because you have like 20 plus million right now does not mean that you can just spend it just because. Like, you got to be smart with that, especially since the Blue Jackets are a smaller market team that does not have as much money compared to other teams. Like, that's another reason that you have to be extra careful with your money to make sure that when you're spending it, you're doing it correctly. You don't want to be stuck with a contract where it's like you got a guy for like 3 years at like, $3 million and he's playing awful. And then it's like, well, you're stuck with that because then no one wants that sort of thing. So you just, Hefty Doc does bring up a good point there. It's like, you got to be more careful with your money. When you look at the guys that the Blue Jackets will have to sign eventually, a Ken Johnson, a Kirill Marchenko, and so on and so forth down the list. You just got to be more, careful with your money.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's unfortunate that they have so much cap space due to Johnny Gaudreau passing away this last summer. But it's also, at this point, something that they need to weaponize in their favor. And I'm really amazed with where they're at with, like, right now in the standings with where their cap space is, because you don't really see that. I mean, like, for instance, you take a look at the New York Islanders, who are like their projected cap on Puckpedia is a minus 2.36 million. The current cap space is 132,000 Canadians. Yeah, right.
All that to
And
be eighth in the division,
dude. Yeah, they in the Metro, and the Canadians right now. Their projected cap space is minus 2.54 million. Current cap space is 7.55 million. They do have a little bit of wiggle room there, but they're also not too far off. Like the Blue Jackets, like I mentioned earlier, they're a point ahead of Montreal right now, as far as like NHL points go. And Blue Jackets have the most projected cap space at 19.2 million and the most current cap space at 35.8 million. That is some big contracts they could sign. Now, to be fair, that does I believe that does not include Boone Jenner or Eric Goodbranson, or even right now, I think Yegor Chinikov.
Yeah.
So, Boone Jenner has a little bit bigger contract, and Eric Goodbranson, we know, I think has that 4x4 deal still. And so speaking of two, I have a post here from Mark Scheig. I should ask you sometime how to pronounce your name. Sorry. I think it's Scheig. But he said on January 4th, 10:46 a.m. yesterday morning, good news, Yegor Chinikov, Justin Danforth, and Boone Jenner are all getting a skate in after the optional skate ended. So that's good to hear. Good news to hear. Also, do you have the donkey hat video for later? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just want people when we do watch that, check out where Eric Goodbranson is at. I like seeing him with the team right now too. That's really nice to see. That
Before we get to that, I'm going to show the Adam Fantilli goal.
Sure, absolutely. Let's check her out.
So this is the goal that Adam Fantilli scored against the Blues to make it 4-1. And as you can see, Werenski's going to have the puck. He's kind of, in this area, kind of like by the boards, kind of side of the net area. And he's just going to make one big aggressive pass up the ice. Adam Fantilli's going to get it. And Fantilli's just going to quickly put the puck on net and shoot and score. There really wasn't any sort of thought on that. Ellie, from when I see this goal, my perspective is that, in my opinion, I think Fantilli just saw that and he's like, I just got to get the puck on net. There was no time to deke and make a move and juke a guy out or something. He just had to get it on net, and it's a good shot, and credit to Adam Fantilli, and that's just a good play all around. So here it is.
Dude, so good. Hey, yeah, I was gonna say the music is sometimes what gets people mad at us.
Cry about it, man. It's fucking music.
Well, they don't cry about it; they just take our stream down.
Oh,
and then I cry about it. Yeah, no, they muted our stream last week for one.
Someone's crying. I'll tell you this much.
It's whatever. It's me. I'm the one crying. But absolutely sick. So yeah, I think I mentioned this earlier about this kind of. It's not really like a full stretch pass. Yeah, it kind of is. It's like a stretch wall pass from Zach Werenski from behind the Blue Jackets goal. Gets it up to Adam Fantilli, who's up by the offensive blue line, and Fantilli brings it in just over the right dot, and just slaps her right in. Or I think it looks like a wrist shot. And let's see where this goes again. Little pause, little boom, and it went bottom left corner.
So it started out here and bounced.
Bounced over to the right.
So that's low. That's about pad side.
Low pad side, low stick side.
But you'll see it on the replay. So I'll pause it.
They do it from the front.
That's not it. Right. That's not what I want. Let's see. See, that's kind of hard because the stick's kind of right on him. So he didn't really have a lot of time to shoot it because this guy's right on him. So it's just like, oh crap, I got to get it on net.
But his angle, he is playing a bit out to the left. Honestly, he's really towards that left post, and so honestly, he's probably thinking, oh, that shot's coming to my glove side. He shoots it until he shoots it blocker side, and it just embarrasses him.
So Fantilli, he really didn't have a lot of time to shoot it, to just get it on net, and it went in. It
was Joel Hofer in goal. Hofer.
Either or. We know who you're talking about. We know it.
Hofer. 24 years old, 6'5", 179. That's a big dude. He's
And
got a
that's-
pretty good record.
he's-
8-4-1.
Better than Biddington, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
I'm being
probably.
so serious. Biddington sucks. I fucking hate him.
Yeah, Bennington's he's an interesting character. I'll leave it there at that.
Piece of shit. He's a piece of
Yeah.
Look,
So,
I didn't say
you
that.
know.
You did.
He sucks.
But, you
and
know,
fuck him.
But once again, I like Ohio State. But thank you, Michigan, for being good at hockey. Thank you for Adam Fantilli. Thank you.
But not good enough to win this last outdoor game that they had in Wrigley Field.
That's
So
right.
we're getting kind of close to the end. We got to talk about this real quick
Yes,
before we get
do.
anywhere
Yes,
near there.
we do. I'm going to finish up this video. And then...
No, we're gonna talk about outdoor games here for a little while, if I'm being honest. If
All
there's
right.
anything else.
So, you're right. So I'm going to put this up on the screen. We have some hockey jerseys to talk about, which is this. Where's my damn stream? Okay, there's my stream. Right. So, this past Friday and Saturday, there was Big Ten hockey outside at Wrigley Field in Chicago. And the teams that played there were Michigan, Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State, and with Michigan State and Wisconsin. And there were some pretty damn cool hockey jerseys out there. And we're going to start with Penn State's jersey that they wore here. And this is just an outstanding look, an all-time classic. You got like a blue jersey with white shoulders, and then Penn State is in white letters and like a baseball-style font.
Those Nittany Lions.
Just, no, Nittany Lions. I'm sorry.
You're a Nittany.
It says,
how dare you?
It said, no, not Penn State. It says Nittany Lions in white letters in a baseball-style font. Awesome. But the thing that I really like about this that helps it stand out is kind of like the vintage, old school, kind of like gloves and pants from like a, old school outdoor hockey game from years ago. That's the thing I really,
Yeah, it's not
like
just black gloves.
Yeah.
You don't really see that too often.
So overall, I like this. This is a good look that Penn State did. So Hefty Duck and the Man of Truth, what you thinking here?
Out of a 10, I'll give this one a solid 8.5. I like this a lot. I think it's nice. I'm not the biggest fan of yellow, but it's kind of more of a goldish color. And nice classic look. In some ways, I think some other teams could learn from this.
Yes.
Not a big Nittany Lion fan, but it is what it is.
Hey, you have no choice.
Yeah,
I am a big Penn State Nittany Lion fan, and I love these jerseys, and I think they are 9s, if not 10s, because honestly, I feel like with Penn State, they always know how to get jerseys right.
it's true.
And they did some great work with the men's baseball club, and they did with promoting it and revealing these uniforms, and I think they knocked them out of the park. I get it.
All right. So overall, all three of us think this is a pretty good jersey. So Ohio State has some cool ones, but we're saving that for last. So on to the next one. We're gonna go and see what did let's see here. What did Michigan Oh, here it is. You know what? Okay, screw it. You know what? Ohio State women's will save for last. Here we have both what Ohio State men's hockey and Michigan wore for that day. And honestly, this is a mid-off for me. It's just mid. Like, there's things I don't like about both jerseys and things that I do like about both jerseys. I just feel like that both teams could have done better.
Michigan's looks like they're like a construction company almost.
Yeah. Like, so what I like about Ohio State is it's got the baseball style font with Ohio State. That looks cool. And I like the kind of like the striping pattern they have there with the red and the white.
Helmets are cool.
And I like the Buckeye leaf up there. That's cool. The color is hideous. I'm sorry. It's hideous, and that is not an Ohio State color. Like, your colors are red, gray, white. Use one of those colors, please. It's just they could have done better. They just could have done better.
Yeah, I wonder what the throwback here was for them, or what they were like, if they had a kind of like a theme kind of thing going on.
I don't know.
Sure. Oh, this was happening in Wrigley, right?
Yeah.
Is this a throwback to like a White Sox Cubs kind of style?
Maybe.
I'm sorry, did I say White Sox?
I think it would be a cardinal sin if they did something White Sox theme.
Yeah, I don't really know. Well, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I'm just throwing.
I don't know nothing about ball.
But so average at best for Ohio State men's hockey team. As for Michigan, it's the same way. Like, I like the yellow and the blue pants. You know, they got a cool shoulder, kind of like an old school shoulder patch from like a logo that they used to wear years ago. Their inspiration comes from a jersey that the Cubs wore in the 80s. So they basically took that jersey that the Cubs wore in the 80s, and instead of blue, red, white, they used the Michigan colors of blue, yellow, white and put it there. My big issue with this, I just don't think that the M logo is a good logo in the corner where it is. I know they're trying to do like the Cubs jersey based off the 80s that they wore. It had the Cubs logo in that corner where the M is, but I just don't think that is not made for a baseball. Like, if it was one of two things, if you made the M like real in the middle of the jersey and real big and stand out, kind of like how the Blue Jackets have their main logo that's big and stands out on their jersey, I think that would have looked better. Or you do what Ohio State and Penn State did, which is you have like Michigan across the jersey in like baseball style lettering. I think it could have gone better that way. But that's just my thoughts. Hefty Duck and Man of Truth, your thoughts on what Michigan wore here?
Yeah. Out of the two, I'm gonna have to go with, just because I mean the majority of the clothes I wear are black. I'm gonna have to go with Ohio State because of the biggest thing I like, the thing I like the most. Well, I'm a little biased, yeah, sure, but also the Buckeye leaf on the shoulder. And the reason I say that, so my dad's a big Ohio State fan, and the reason so right around Christmas time, I bought him a hat that is a black hat with that logo on it because I thought it was just cool looking. I don't really see it very much. I'm not sure where they're getting the black color from, because you're right, Kev, that is not one of their colors. It's just kind of random. But I also think it could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse.
Yes.
The pairing of the red gloves was kind of cool. It would have been kind of neat to see some red skates. I know that's probably not feasible, but would have been neat. But yeah, what do you think they're B's?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like with Michigan's, there's definitely more that could have been done. I feel like they could have, tried to do something that's, actually like inspiring to something that isn't about a team from Illinois.
Yeah.
Maybe do some Tigers theme stuff, because it just doesn't make sense. It's Michigan, right, doing a Chicago Cubs theme jersey. And
well,
that was the first thing that threw me off.
Last year they used Progressive Field for a game. And I believe, I've not looked into this, but I do know that Progressive Field, that's the home of the Cleveland Guardians, formerly Indians now, they're doing a lot of construction for some stuff next season. And I'm pretty sure that this would have conflicted with some of that stuff going on. So, so in Wrigley Field it is. It would have been really cool to see this at the shoe, but
I think
let's
they're
check
saving
out
that for something else.
So, all
let's
right.
check out the women's real quick
yes.
because here are the real winners.
Oh yeah. First, before we get to, I'm going to quickly show off what Notre Dame wore. It's average at it's average at
Ass.
No, it's not terrible. It's
I'm-
not bad either. It's just it's just kind of there. It's just kind of there. So okay, so what I like about this is like they take the Cubs C logo and they put the Notre Dame logo inside the C. I like that. And there's a little tribute to the city of Chicago flag. That's cool and everything. It's just that this light blue
that's ruining it for me.
It's not Notre Dame's colors. Like Notre Dame is like a dark blue and a yellow.
Gold, yeah.
And so like I don't know. So it's okay. It's okay. Hartsey brought this up before the show started, and I wonder if they're paying tribute to like the Cubs City Connect jersey, because the Cubs City Connect jersey is a dark blue jersey with like a light blue on it. So I wonder if that's where they're getting the light blue from. So I think it's an okay.
I think that's what they did. I think that's exactly what they did.
I think it's an okay jersey. So that's just my thoughts. Hefty Duck and Manitou, what do you care?
The dark blue with the little gold accents around is super cool. I like that. I'm not even gonna bitch about their chrome helmets. I mean, obviously they're gold, but like the shiny ones, I don't like the shiny ones.
Oh my gosh, York Swag would have nutted if he saw those.
Well, I just love those. Like there are some cool parts to it, like the little details like around the sleeve, the little golden clovers. That's cool, but the light blue is throwing it off for me a little bit. I would have rather them just use like maybe a similar tone gray or maybe like a slate gray or something like that, just because it's a neutral tone. It's not part of their colors, but it would not get in the way of that dark blue and gold. The light blue and gold is just a little bit not for me, is all. Just not for me. But the goalie pads back there are looking pretty cool too. They have the white with the dark blue stripe and the gold on them. Pretty cool. But what do you think there, Bees?
I mean, obviously, they're trying to stick to the theme here of something Chicago, something baseball, something. Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like if A+ expertise from this guy over here. But they're not the worst. Well, they're probably the worst. They're like third or fourth out of the 4 men's teams that played.
I like it slightly better than Michigan's, not quite as much as Ohio State men's.
Penn State is the best.
Penn State was pretty decent. That's so far.
Yeah, but they I'll give it like a 6, 7, 6.9.
I give it a 6. Yeah, I'd agree with you there. All right, and what's the last one we got? Or is it the last one?
No, we got 2 more. This is so Ohio State women's hockey played Wisconsin. So you got to show up what Wisconsin wore. Wisconsin. So it's a white jersey, Wisconsin in red letters, and the red letters are just kind of like in a baseball style, and I think that looks cool. Definitely one of the better ones. And then I don't know if I can zoom in if you can see it or not. But the shoulder patch is like the state outline of Wisconsin. So like I think that's cool. So I think this is one of the better ones. So I like it. But what's your thoughts here, everyone?
It's plain, but it gets the point across.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I feel like they were playing it safe with this by just going with just the white and the red, and then they had that little patch up there for whatever. But I think this was them trying to play it somewhat safe. I like the classic look to it, but I would give this one a solid like 7 because it's not too bad. It's fairly nice in my opinion, but you know, they weren't trying anything new like light blue.
Yeah. What you feeling here, man of truth?
I think he said everything that I was gonna say. You're just playing it safe, but sometimes playing it safe kind of works out because I mean these are good looking jerseys and like uniforms. I feel like they, you don't have to you don't have to ball out even though you're playing outdoors and wear bright ass banana yellow, or you don't have to
Light blue.
or light blue. So they got it. They did what they needed to do, and I think it all worked out in the end for them.
All right. So now on to the real star of the show. This is just the most outstanding hockey jersey for all of the Big Ten at Wrigley Field. It is the best of the best, top tier, cream of the crop, absolutely elite, outstanding. It is the jersey that the Ohio State women's hockey team wore. And I'm going to show 2 pictures. I'm going to show the jersey itself, and then I'm going to show what it actually looked like on the ice. Both of them are just outstanding. So here it is. This is just the jersey itself. As you can see, this is just totally outstanding. I love this. You have the big Brutus on the front of the jersey. You have the O, the Ohio State O on the collar. You can't see it in this picture, but it has a Buckeye leaf as the shoulder patches. It's just awesome. It's outstanding. And this is just my guess, but I wonder if they're paying tribute to what the Blackhawks wore the first time they played at Wrigley Field, because it's very reminiscent of that. It's a similar style and similar colors that the Blackhawks wore during that first outdoor game at Wrigley Field. So overall, I just think this is just an outstanding, awesome jersey, the best of the best that were worn at Wrigley Field. And Ohio State, shut up and take my money because I am going to buy this. Anyways, Hefty Duck and Man of Truth, your thoughts on this jersey?
Totally baller. I love it. I love the idea of it. The only thing that I would slightly maybe change is the white is slightly off white, and I'm not sure if I think it's more prominent because of the lighting on this picture, but I would maybe just go with a brighter white, or silver.
How much brighter can you get with the color white?
Well, it's an off white, so if you're not colorblind, then I mean you're the one wearing an orange jersey, man. I don't know. I'm playing. I'm kidding. It's a joke.
I couldn't hear you. I was laughing.
Something about an orange jersey and colorblindness. But I love it. I mean, for this one, this is like a 9 out of 10 for me, 9.5, because I'm a big Brutus fan. I love that they used him and not just the Buckeye logo, even if it's on the shoulder. I love the Buckeye logo as it is, but Brutus, got to give him props for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what you thinking here, Man of Truth?
It's a good looking tarp. I think it's definitely the best of the best. When it comes to, I still don't think it's better than Penn State's though.
That's fine.
It's like it's a 9.9.
So this is what it looks like, full jersey on the ice, and it's just outstanding. It's even better. As you can see, like we said, it's the Brutus on the middle, the big Brutus logo with the Buckeye shoulder patches, the Ohio State O on the collar. I like the color scheme. It's got the big Ohio State O on the pants. I like the pants, the socks. I just like everything. Your thoughts?
This is 100% based on the Winter Classics that Chicago did in like 2009. What the hell was that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is either. Goofball squeaking noise. Anyways, but no. Continue your thoughts, RC.
But no, it's 100% based on the maybe 99.9% based on what Chicago did outdoors in the Winter Classic in like 2009.
Yeah.
Because I have it on my screen. What is that? What is that?
Oh, you know what it is.
Oh no.
Hefty Duck, what you thinking here?
The striping with the pants. That was the only thing, very slight thing about Wisconsin, that there was a vertical stripe on their pants, and everything else was horizontal stripes. Here they did kind of both with the Ohio State pants. And I think it's very interesting that they put as many stripes on the pants as they did, because normally you just don't see that quite as much. I think altogether the look is just solid. I think it would have been cool if the men's jerseys would have gone this hard as well, but
Yeah.
I kind of get why they're both they're a little bit related, as in like they're both like the dark black jerseys. But I think I like the women's better. And I literally, like, as we're talking, I'm looking to try to see if I can find one online I can buy. And
You're not alone, Hefty Duck. Many people tried to do that. Ohio State is selling it, and they've already sold out.
yeah, because it's not on the team shop right now when you go to look for jerseys. So
it's sold out quick and completely
it
understandable.
literally says new women's hockey gear, has like the picture of the jersey, and it has a puck with the same Brutus logo on it. You hit shop now, and it's not available.
Looks like it's time to go to DH Gate with it, brother.
No.
I don't know what that is, and I'm not going to promote it. I don't know.
So now, next thing is that also before that game started, there was a tribute to Johnny Gaudreau by the Ohio State women's hockey team. And they wore Johnny Gaudreau Blue Jackets jerseys to Wrigley Field, and we're going to play that video, and it's going to be awesome. So here it is. As you can see, there are the Ohio State women's hockey team, and they're wearing Johnny Gaudreau jerseys at Wrigley Field. Oh, look, there's James Wisniewski, former Blue Jackets player James Wisniewski, too.
That's just really neat of them to even think about like doing that. And it's just nice to see the support in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Really
I
cool.
have to say this
is that James Wisniewski.
Yeah, we'll back this up. Let's see. Oop, right there. There he is. There he is. One thing I can say is that ever since, it does look pretty cold out there. One thing I can say is that ever since Nadine Muzzerall came to be the coach for Ohio State women's hockey team, she has really set the standard for how to treat the Blue Jackets as an Ohio State representative. Just totally outstanding, awesome. They've been to multiple Blue Jackets games. They've been to.
She helped out with camp this last season, and she's actually using a help. It's helping them get better. It only can, because they're college kids, and they're all very talented, and many of these women are going to go on to the PWHL as well. But having working a little bit with a professional NHL team, even if they weren't like super great last year, they're professionals, and they're amazing at what they do.
Yes, and they help. Nadine Muzzerall helped out with the Blue Jackets development camp. She's helped out with Adam Fantilli. It's just awesome. It just really is. And the reason and why this matters so much to me and other people as well. We've talked about this on the show, and this is by no means being disrespectful to Ohio State. But the truth is that for a good chunk of the Blue Jackets' existence, Ohio State has been absolutely mean and awful to the Blue Jackets for no good reason. When the Blue Jackets would go out of their way to show support for the Blue Jackets on a consistent basis, Ohio State wouldn't return the favor, and metaphorically speaking, they spit in their face, in the Blue Jackets' face. And that, I'm a big Ohio State guy, and that's one of the things that just upset me so much. It's like, why are you doing this? You don't need to do this. That's petty shit. You don't need to be doing this. But to their credit, in more recent years, they've knocked that off. They don't do it anymore. and they're way better at supporting the Blue Jackets. They've helped the Blue Jackets get an outdoor game. And like you said, Hefty Duck, if you're Nadine Muzzerall, you're trying to get someone to come to Ohio State and play hockey here. This is a perfect example right here. It's like, hey, not only do you get to play at a good hockey school, we won national championships and everything, but you can learn from the Blue Jackets. What other school can say that, hey, you get to go to a good school, you can play a good hockey there, and you can learn from an NHL team? Not a lot of, there's very few schools that can say that. So I like that she's using the Blue Jackets as a way to improve Ohio State, and it's just awesome. And I love this. I want more of this, and we will see more of this because the Blue Jackets have an outdoor game at Ohio State. But if there was ever an example on what Ohio State should be doing to show support for the Blue Jackets on a consistent basis, it's stuff like this. It's stuff like what Nadine Muzzerall is doing. That's the standard. That's the standard. And I just love it. I really do. So shout out to you, Nadine Muzzerall, and the Ohio State women's hockey team for consistently showing support for the Blue Jackets. And thank you for showing support for Johnny Gaudreau at your outdoor game at Wrigley Field against Wisconsin.
Yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Love to see it. Do you have anything else before we kind of move on to the closing?
Yes. So Zach Werenski was named the third star of the week in the NHL last.
Oh yeah, and Donkey Hat.
And the Donkey's hat. But
Yeah,
Zach
we have
Werenski was named the third star of the week in the NHL. So shout out to you, Zach Werenski. But also, Zach Werenski has been named as part of the fantasy team of the month in the month of December, as well as Krill Marchenko. So there's Krill Marchenko and there's Zach Werenski. So
Noise.
shout out to Zach Werenski and Krill Marchenko for being part of the December fantasy team of the month. So there you go. So there's that. So now also I got to go find the donkey hat. So donkey hat videos. But so talk something up real quick.
Yeah, well, actually, Bees wanted to talk about something, so I'm just gonna give you the floor now. If you would like to. We were just talking about the, outdoor games, so this is relevant to that.
Yeah, just to talk about the Winter Classic real quick, and I don't know if any of you saw the game on New Year's Eve, which if you even knew it was on New Year's Eve, because you know how usually like Winter Classic is like your New Year's Day, like your big regular season spectacle, for the NHL, and you go out there, you put your teams out there on a grand stage to show off this is what the sport was, and this is what the sport is like, and this is how great our sport can be. And this past year did not. It sucked. It was a piece of shit. It was not good. It did not show off the best of the best. You went out there and you put two teams that are struggling. You got the rebuilding Chicago Blackhawks, and you got the St. Louis Blues, who are fresh off of missing the playoffs last year. And I'm not saying this like being distant Chicago or St. Louis, because obviously, it's a good rivalry, the black and blue rivalry, and they hate each other, and they used to clash real hard in the 80s, but like times have changed. This isn't Roenick versus Hull anymore. This is fucking Bedard and who else versus the Blues. And the ratings for it was terrible. This was the first time the Winter Classic had under 1 million viewers.
Ouch. I'll be honest, I didn't watch it.
Nobody, yeah, and you wouldn't have known This game had only 920,000 viewers on TNT
Ouch.
and True TV. according to Sports Media Watch, as I'm reading this from awfulannouncing.com. But when you go out there and it's like you have your game on New Year's Eve because, well, we don't want to lose our viewers to college football. And you're losing viewers anyway because you're doing that on New Year's Eve, right? Which is not a holiday. It's not. So, and you got a 5 p.m., you got like a 6 p.m. puck drop. And not only that, you're doing the game and there's like 12 other games on that day. The Blue Jackets played on New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah, they play like every New Year's Eve. Yeah.
I'm out here. I'm like, oh, the Flyers played tonight on New Year's Eve. Then I turned on TNT, and it's like, oh, the Winter Classic is on. I thought that was tomorrow.
Yeah, I kind of forgot it was on at all.
It's like if you hadn't if they had even told anybody hey, we're doing this on New Year's Eve, you would think, because again, it's your big New Year's Day spectacle, but it wasn't. And you got two shitty teams who aren't going to do much. Like back in the day, when you first Winter Classic in 2008, where you had the Sabres and the Penguins, but you got young Crosby, who's about to win a cup next year, and you got the Sabres, who are a powerhouse team, fucking Briere and all those guys. Or no, wait, Briere was gone. Never mind. But you got all you go through the years and you got these teams that actually mean something to the sport. Like you get Detroit versus Chicago in '09, where Detroit is just a powerhouse. They just won the cup, and you got young Chicago with Kane and Taves and Seabrook and Keith and all these guys. Or you could put you got Montreal versus Boston. You got Detroit versus Toronto, which had 100,000 people watching it in attendance. It just seems like more and more as the years went on, the Winter Classic has become less and less and less of a meaningful game. And that was in the Winter Classic supposed to be one of the biggest regular season games. And it's just not anymore. It doesn't have the same magical experience like I used to. I saw them play at Citizens Bank Park with the Flyers and the Rangers, and that was a cool experience. And that was back when it was something that people actually really wanted to have their eyes on, because it's oh my god, dude, these two teams, they hate each other, and they're about to go to war outside on a larger scale. But anyway, this year was just not as good. This is the second time they've been to Wrigley Field, because the first time was again '09 in Chicago with Detroit. And I feel now, because the viewers are less, because back then you had it on NBC and you could just turn it on your local NBC station and, oh, look at that, hockey. But now you got it on TNT, and now it just means less and less. And you got 3 other outdoor games. You got the Stadium Series, and every other year you have the Heritage Classic. It just seems like now
I'm kind of tired of seeing Chicago play outside, to be honest.
Plus, Chicago has what? Chicago has what? 1 win in an outdoor game?
How many?
Of 10. They have
I was 10 or 11.
It has to be around that number. What are we doing? And for TNT to be oh well, we're just going to do it on New Year's Eve because we don't want to lose our viewers to college football. Well, now it's you're telling us you don't think we can compete for the viewer's eye over college football. I know it's the playoffs, but come on, there's still people that are going to be interested in watching a game like this.
Yeah, it's not like they got the viewership anyway.
And they did it. You're oh, we don't want to lose viewers, but then you lost viewers. And you put out Bedard, you put Bedard out there, and it's only his second year, and it's okay, well, look, Connor, it's your second year, go play outdoors. And what does Connor do? Nothing. The Hawks got their ass whipped 6-2. 6-2. It's time to give Chicago a break. And I really hope for NHL's sake that the Stadium Series it does numbers this year, or at least touches 1 million viewers. Because if it doesn't, it's really going to be like, oh well, now outdoor games just don't mean shit like that much anymore. Because like, come on, like
Yeah.
a meaningless football game between fucking New York and Indianapolis could do those numbers.
Mhm.
It just doesn't make sense, and I feel like the sport means less and less and less now.
Archie,
And like,
you finish up your thought there.
I'm just saying, hopefully the Stadium Series does good numbers, or else we're really gonna have to start thinking like we're really gonna have to start reconsidering the Winter Classic and like maybe like not doing it, because that's what some people thought of doing. Or like maybe put some teams out there that actually have something to show off. Why don't you go out there? Why don't you put McDavid out there? McDavid hasn't played in a Winter Classic. Why don't you go out there and why don't you? They're talking about putting Florida, one of the Florida teams out there, Tampa, Florida. What the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
That's
Like, what's the
not gonna be
criteria right now? The criteria is to be what? Have at least one
Population.
original 6 team in there or some bullshit.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, you have to put
Good one.
teams out there. You have to put your best advertising like guys out there. And I get you want Bedard out there because he's like the star sophomore, but it just felt forced.
Yeah.
Like they were forcing Connor Bedard onto us, and he just didn't do anything. Now, I'm not saying Bedard is like ass or anything. It's just like
Right.
we just have to put put 2 teams out there that are going to have viewers. Dude, when Detroit and Toronto played outdoors at the fucking Big House, I think that's what that is, right? The Big House.
Yep.
They had over 7 million viewers in US and Canada combined. If we can put 2 teams out there next Winter Classic, we put 2 teams out there that know for a fact they're going to get eyes on the game. Put Toronto versus Edmonton. I know it's like the Winter Classic is like more for like the American audience, but go out there, put Toronto versus Edmonton. Go out there, have the Rangers play like have the Rangers out there, have them host one at Yankee Stadium. Just do something that'll make sure that you'll have viewers. And
yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
And Hartsey, now finish up there, Hartsey. What you?
I don't really have much to say. I'm just saying, like, if the NHL really wants this like spectacle to do well, like how it used to, advertise it well, put it on a network that isn't going to screw you over because they think they're going to lose viewers to another sport, and put 2 teams out there that are going to bring you some money, bring you some viewers, and bring you something that's going to make it mean something.
Yeah. So, Hartsey, you do bring up, you said, you hope that the Stadium Series does better. And I'm not just saying this because I like the Blue Jackets, but this is, from Jordan from this CBJ Artillery, who I like. And he put this on his Twitter page, which I agree with, is that when you use the same teams every other year, that'll happen. I'll truly believe that the CBJ outdoor game will get better numbers, especially being in the shoe. And this tweet is in response to what Hartsey has been talking about, is the Winter Classic getting low TV numbers. So
I've seen more advertisement for the Jackets outdoor game than I did for the Winter Classic.
Yeah,
like
yes.
I wouldn't have known that it was going to be played on New Year's Eve unless I saw it like an hour before puck drop. Oh, the game's tonight, not tomorrow. Okay, that's weird, but okay.
I do agree with Jordan here that the Blue Jackets, I'm not just saying this because I like the Blue Jackets, but also I do believe that the Blue Jackets will get better numbers outdoor game because it's a different team. The Blue Jackets have never played in an outdoor game. That'll get people's attention. And, so Detroit says, so they're going to do the whole Ohio State, Michigan thing. And then it's at Ohio State. The shoe is one of the most iconic venues in sports in America. So I do believe that plays a role in why I think it's going to be better. That's just, me though. But Anyways, donkey of the game videos.
Yeah.
We have 2 of them to show. Good talk there, Hartsey. Really got yourself going there. Very passionate.
It pisses me off to see stuff like that just flop because I love watching the Winter Classic. I couldn't even finish watching the game. Like once the Blues scored their 5th one, I said, you know what? There's no point. Like, let me just get rid
The
of
only
the
cool
Flyers
part
game
was
tonight.
Foligno having a fight.
Yeah, like Shen and Foligno dropping the gloves. That's your highlight. Like, come on, do better.
Yeah.
Ken Fowler played in his 1,000th
All right, we do have to
game
move
and
on though
scored.
because we got to end the show here soon.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut anyone off. Also,
Yeah.
it looks like my head's on top of your body right now, Hartsey.
Oh yeah, look
You
at
see
that.
that?
You're wearing a Flyers jersey now. How's it
Damn.
feel?
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway,
Anyways.
continue, Kev.
Okay, so donkey of last thing I'll say is I will say this: the jerseys look cool on the ice for the Winter Classic. It was a good jersey matchup. That's just me.
The jersey sucked too in my eyes.
I really like. I thought the Blues one was okay. It looked better on the ice. The Blackhawks one, that one was the better one. But anyways,
Yeah.
donkey of the game video. There was 2 of them because the Blue Jackets got 2 wins, so 2 donkey of the game videos. The first one was Adam Fantilli giving the donkey hat of the game to Denton Matejchuk for getting his first ever NHL point after the Blue Jackets beat the Carolina Hurricanes 4-3 in a shootout. So I am going to show that video right here. So here's the video of Adam Fantilli giving the donkey hat of the game to Denton Matejchuk.
Great win, boys. Shout out, you guys. Shout out, Elvis, and shout out, Martin. But your first NHL point, not something you forget. So.
Oh. Skivvies. Never forget that now.
Oh, whatever.
Zoom out. Zoom out.
Yeah, good win, boys. Nice way to end off the year, and let's keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling.
Nice.
So
What's the next one?
Yeah. So one more time, here's the video of Adam Fantilli giving the donkey hat to Denton Matejchuk. So there you go. Check that out. There he is with the donkey hat.
Yep.
That donk.
Man, what's the next one?
So the next one, I'm going to pause it, and we're going to go right here. This is Denton Matejchuk giving the donkey hat of the game to Sean Monahan after the Blue Jackets beat the Blues 6-4.
You still got the Fantilli one up?
There it is. All right.
Oh, there it is.
Hey, I did the
There it is.
bingo card, everyone. I forgot to put the video up on the screen. I did the meme. I do that at least once a show. So I did it. So if you had a bingo card, put it on your bingo card. Anyways, again, here's Denton Matejchuk giving the donkey hat of the game to Sean Monahan after the Blue Jackets beat the St. Louis Blues 6-4.
Way to get a win on the board, boys. Monty, we were going all night, so there you go.
What? Big win, fellas. Yeah, let's enjoy the day. See you guys on Monday.
I mean, a few words. I like it.
Yeah, that's all he needs is a few words.
Well, some of them they're out there giving like a 5-minute speech, and then some of them are just like, "Hey, good game, boys. All right, on to
Good job
that
tonight. All right, let's go hit the showers. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me at the end of episodes.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, well, I gotta pee and I gotta take a shower and like I want to go home. So good job, and let's move on with our lives. And then some guys are just like, "Oh my God, great game, boys! You did it. Hey, Adam Fantilli did a good job, and you did a good job, and you did a good job, and people deserved it. But you know what? I'm gonna give it to this guy." And then everyone's like, "Yeah, woo!" Really pumped up, get you going. It just depends on the person. Or, you get Dmitry Voronkov when he gets the donkey head, and it's not his fault. He doesn't know a lot of English yet, and it's like in his very limited English, like, "Good job, boys, good game," and then they stop. So it's always fun to see that who gets the donkey head and how much they say when they get the donkey head.
Yeah. So,
So
let's go ahead. We can do our closing stuff now.
so Zach Werenski, there's going to put this up on the screen, is now 15-point game streak at home, 9 goals, 20 assists. He's just been absolutely dominating all season, including, home games. So, that's cool. So shout out to Zach Werenski for that. Good thing what else do I got here? Mascot Madness. It was Mascot Madness at the Blue Jackets game yesterday. So,
I don't see Gritty.
well, it happened. So we had Stinger. We had the 2 Clippers mascots. We got Brutus from Ohio State. We got 2 Reds mascots, Mr. Redlegs and Gapper. We got the Browns mascot. We got the Crew mascot. Pittsburgh's mascot. We got Minnesota's mascot, Montreal's mascot, and St. Louis's mascot. Oh, and the Devils mascot too. So mascot madness at the Blue Jackets game yesterday.
NJ Devil just seeing this. Fuck you.
See here. Okay, so Zach Werenski since December 23rd is first in assists, first in points, first in shots. He's actually doing pretty dang good. So, that's pretty cool. I'm going to save that for next week. There's some JFresh analytics on Kromarchenko, and he's playing pretty good, but I'm going to save that for the next show. So, anyways, first, let's remove this. Hello there, Rinketic. How you doing there? Hi, Rinketic.
What up? I see you commented.
And little comment from the man of truth. Bro went off for nothing. LMAO.
Who the hell typed that? What an asshole.
Yeah.
What a douche.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Maybe he should come on the show so we can give him a piece of our mind.
Yeah, he should. Yeah, he should come on. He should come to where I live. I'll beat the shit out of him.
Like and share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You should do it. That helps out our YouTube channel. Please tell your family and friends, like and share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Shout out to William in this awesome suit. Just got to do it. It's just awesome. The suit, the tie, the orange tie just looks good. Shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Good guy. Love talking hockey with you. Like Hartsey, he's wearing a Union Blue Soldier scarf, and love talking hockey with you. You're a big Blackhawks guy, but you like the Blue Jackets for me, so I appreciate that, and I love talking hockey with you. Wish you were still here so I could still talk some hockey with you and have some fun, but unfortunately you're not. But thank you for everything, Doc, and wish you were still here and wish I could still talk hockey with you. And shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc.
Peace, Doc.
That's right. One last thing for me is, that scarf that Hartsey is wearing there,
Yeah, this one?
Yeah, that one right there. Like this. You should totally check out Union Blue Soldiers. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed group that I run. It's a lot of fun. we do stuff like, marches from our bar to Nationwide Arena. And we cheer on the Blue Jackets and a lot of other fun stuff. So check out Union Blue Soldiers. Got some fun stuff planned. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Follow us on all social media platforms. And check out Union Blue Soldiers.
I should have gotten Kevin to sign this one when he gave it to me.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
All right.
So,
I'm done. I'm done talking. I'm out.
Word bird. Young Beezer, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about real quick in the next few minutes before I cut you off?
no,
I'm joking.
I
Not really.
really just hope the Winter Classic gets fixed. But other than that, I got a shout out. I got to shout out Bjork Swag. I got to shout out Bruins Wine and the CT Assassins. I got to get Kevin in there to join our EASHL club. Shout out to the Saskatoon Bandits, my FHL club. Shout out to the Buffalo Bulldogs, my HCA club. Follow me on X or whatever that lizard Elon Musk calls it. On at Young Biza with an AH, and you can watch me tweet about random bullshit, and it won't be funny, but that's okay. And what else? What else do I have to shout out? Shout out to that Fox right there. Shout out to my boy Foxy over there. He's been sitting here watching us all the whole time. He probably knows where we all live now. So, yeah. And a happy New Year. That's all I got to say about that, Chad.
Word bird. Well, this has been yet another episode of the Brew Jackets. And just as a reminder, if you guys want to listen to us, you can find us on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find podcasts at, we're there. Also, if you want to watch the replays, the best place to do that is YouTube. You can watch them on Twitter, but they're a little bit slightly harder to find because YouTube keeps them up. Just when you go to our YouTube, it's under the live section, not under videos. We don't upload them as videos anymore, just as live broadcasts. But next week we'll probably be here, same time, same place. We've been kind of working these Sundays have been working out well for us ever since I changed jobs and the holidays happen and we get busy. But other than that, we'll see you here in 1 week, and we'll have some more games to talk about and some more fun stuff, and we will see you then.